MZTV.
It's Monday, November the 2nd, 2020. Don't blame me. I didn't start the fire. I'm just here living it. I'm just here in this year on this day in world history, reporting to you from my kitchen. I don't like to do shows like this because it dates the shows. If you notice, I don't ordinarily mention current events or popular culture. Well, yeah, but The Wizard of Oz is timeless. I was going to say popular culture references, but, well, The Wizard of Oz is timeless. The truth is timeless. Today, I'm making a video that will be quickly dated, but that's all right because it'll be relevant for you today. Tomorrow is Election Day in the United States of America. And this is the saying. I didn't make this up. As goes America, so goes the world. That's pretty arrogant. That's pretty Americo-centric. I can't help that. But they call the president of the United States the leader of the free world. Yeah, free countries. That eliminates communist countries such as China, North Korea, Venezuela, Cuba, because they do their own thing. This is a rare election, I think, in the United States because people might not believe this, but it has come down to a choice, but not many people realize this. I mean, I think enough people realize it that Trump is going to win. Is that the Democratic Party in the United States today is a carrier of an ideology. The party is just a party. It's just a platform. There's an ideology behind it. And the ideology is centralized government. The euphemism is big government, or not even more of a euphemism, helpful government. But as Ronald Reagan famously said, the 10 most scariest words in the English vocabulary are, hello, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. There's one party carries an ideology of big government, that some heartless, cold bureaucracy can solve your problems, should be counted on to solve your problems. But in an era run by mortal human beings, this leads to power-hungry people. I'm going to give you a great example of that. When you give people who are mortal, when you give them power, they tend to go a little nuts. And there is one party in this country, the Democratic Party, which is not the party of JFK. It's not even the party of Bill Clinton anymore. It's sort of kind of the party of Barack Obama, but it has gone so far left that they are now outwardly giving big clues that if they're elected, they will not relinquish power. They will not relinquish power. They will do away with the Electoral College. If you don't know what that is, look it up. They will put more members on the Supreme Court to make it a preponderance of liberal judges who will make laws from the Supreme Court headquarters, which is not a lawful thing because it's part of the separation of government. The judicial branch, the Supreme Court, is supposed to be separate from the legislative branch, the branch of the government that makes laws. Then there's the executive branch, the presidency. We have a separation of powers so that things proceed slowly in Washington, D.C., so that one party cannot get in control and take all control. But this is what the party of Joe Biden wants to do, and they're barely hiding it. They're barely hiding it. For some reason, the Republican Party is a carrier of another ideology, which is small government. It comes down to big government, small government. Big government, the power is centered in one place, and it's administered by a few people. Small government is, of course, the ideal. It's a representative government. Yes, the people of the country elect representatives who go to the capital of Washington, D.C., and these representatives purportedly stand for the voice of the people in their district. So it is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The greatest think. Well, that's a Freudian slipped. The greatest thing Donald Trump said in his inauguration, 2017, January 20th thereof, was, "We are taking power away from Washington, D.C. and giving it to the people." Ooh, what do you think Washington, D.C. thinks about that? Doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. People in Washington, D.C. want power. They want centralized power. And it's all done under the guise of helping you. Ask the people of Venezuela how their government telling them that they're going to help them. Ask them how that's going. Ask the people of Cuba how the promise of the government to help you, take care of you, give you things. How is that going? China. How's it going? And I'm going to give you an example of what will happen in the entire country if Joe Biden is elected. I will give you an example, and it comes from California. This is not a joke. When you hear this, you'll think it's a joke. Think, Martin Zender, you can't be serious. Hey, I'm only reporting here. My lighting's making me crazy today. All right, does it matter? Well, it matters to me. Here we go. My election prediction for tomorrow. Now, I really could be wrong on this because this is called Martin Zender election prediction with caveat. Here's my prediction. Trump, Donald J. Trump to be specific, will win in a 43-state landslide. That's my personal prediction. I believe the dude will win every state except Washington, California, Illinois, New York, Delaware, New Jersey, and Oregon. If you add the electoral college votes of all those states, you get 140. That's right. I believe that Joe Biden, senator from Delaware, presidential candidate, although he doesn't always realize it, will get 140 electoral college votes. And as there are 538 electoral college votes up for grabs, that means that the incumbent, one Donald J. Trump, will get 398 electoral college votes. That's right. I, Martin Zender, from a kitchen at the edge of the bottom of the Floridan Peninsula, is predicting a Donald Trump 43-state landslide. Total final tally, electoral college votes, 398 to 140. You say, Zen, you're out of your freaking mind. When has anything like that ever happened? Well, I'm glad you asked. 1984. Ronald Reagan versus Walter Mondale. Are you ready for this? Ronald Reagan, running for re-election, got 525 electoral college votes. Walter Mondale, 13. I repeat, in 1984, within the lifetimes of many of you, Ronald Reagan wins every state except one. Walter Mondale's home state of Minnesota, 10 electoral votes. Mondale barely won that. And the District of Columbia, 3 electoral college votes. 13 altogether. Reagan 525. So I'm not completely out of bounds. Now, here's the caveat. Biden could win. How's that for hedging my bet? That's pretty good. It would be something crazy. Would I mind it? I mean, I wouldn't like it, but I think if that happens, then we're on the fast track to the days of the seals and the thunders and the bowls of Revelation, honest to God. Because we're in the time area. We're in the time frame. I told you we could be off a little bit here, a little bit there, but this is the time frame. 6,000 years from Adam is coming to a climax, I believe, from the calculations of smart people, corroborated by other smart people, is that we are in the year 5992. I explain why 6,000 years from Adam is the fullness of the times of humanity, of politics run by mortals, no, I am in front of it, and that we are on the brink of government by an immortal, administrated by immortals. That is, the government run by Jesus Christ, commonly referred to as the millennium. If Joe Biden wins, then this country is going to succumb to an evil one world government. I mean, it's going to be evil on its face. It's going to be censorship. It's going to be a worldwide lockdown. If you think this lockdown was bad in the past year from the CV-19er, you haven't seen anything yet. In fact, the presidential candidate on the Democratic side has promised to lock everything down again. And this will just cascade into lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. The entire world will come under a police state. The evil one world government will take over. Forced vaccinations. Boom. We are there. If that is true, and if it happens, then it's God. I'll say, that's of God. Martin Zender, are you upset Joe Biden won? Yes, but it's of God. So here we go. Strap in, folks. The engines are lit. If that happens, it is possible. It is possible. Now, I haven't completely thought this through. If that happens, it is possible that the 7-year tribulation, the last 7 years remaining in this eon, the birth pangs, as Jesus calls them, to bring us into the 1,000-year kingdom, the worst times humanity has ever seen upon the earth, future, yet future, that period would have begun at the sign, the celestial sign, on September 23rd, 2017. It is possible, I suppose, that the tribulation started then, because then you could say that the 3.5 years that have passed since then were the good times, were basically the building of something. The Trump era, the best economy ever, no wars, ISIS eliminated, right? Nuclear war avoided with North Korea. Peace deals in the Middle East. Is it possible that we have been in the first 3.5 years? I hope to hell so. That would be awesome. If Biden wins, then I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that is possible. That means the middle of the 7 years would be the spring of 2021. Not like what I've been saying, the spring of 2024. Right now, I'm saying that the spring of 2024 would be the crisis point, the midpoint of the last 7 years, when the man of lawlessness goes into the false temple, declares himself to be the deity after having received the wound that he recovers from. The whole world goes after the wild beast. In this case, the wild beast becomes an evil entity, but before that, I believe he has been a white horse rider. The biggest thing arguing against Joe Biden winning and us being close to the midpoint of the tribulation is the fact that we have a white horse. The white horse rider must precede the man of lawlessness becoming this evil entity. I know what you're saying, though, because I'm thinking the same thing. Well, what if we have just been through the white horse rider era? Because the world has gone for Trump, except for his diehard Trump-hating Trump derangement syndrome enemies. I think that the white horse rider has to become more of a white horse rider. I think the white horse rider needs more time to earn the adulation of a majority of the world. And I think that time is ahead. That's why I think Donald Trump will win the election. And it's going to go great guns. Things are going to be beautiful. Things are going to be glorious. Because another verse I go for, as you know, is even the elect would be deceived if possible. Even the elect would be deceived if possible. That's how slick this deception is. If Biden wins, I'm not deceived. It's like, WTF, my God. Get your kids off the street. Well, you won't have to get your kids off the street. The government will force your kids off the street. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still 3.5 more years. I hope I'm wrong. Honest to God, I hope I'm wrong. But Martin, that means you hope Joe Biden wins. I know, I'm in conflict. I'm a man in conflict here. I don't want that crazy lunatic to win, because the people behind him are going to actually be running the government. Here's what's going to happen. I'll go through this briefly because it's sick. You think this is a joke. You think this is some Saturday Night Live skit. This is true. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom. California is its own communist state. I mean, it is so radicalized. The government is so radical there that people are practically being held hostage. The state is divided between the Interstate 5 corridor. Everything west of Interstate 5 is lefty lunatics, and everything east are the red state section of of California, but unfortunately, California is still one state, and it's run by a radical leftist called Gavin Newsom, and he has just made rules for Thanksgiving gatherings. Yes, sir, Gavin Newsom. The new rules. This is true. This is on Newsweek.com. This is Newsweek. This is from Newsweek. All gatherings must include no more than 3 households. This is your Thanksgiving rules if you live in California. I've heard from people in California, they say, hell no, we're not going to follow these asinine rules. All gatherings must include no more than 3 households. Yeah, if your Aunt Harriet is the 4th household representative, the 1st household being yours, and the 2nd household being your first cousin, Aunt Harriet's household, the last one that's allowed in. Anybody after that, such as Uncle Joe, forget it. All gatherings must include no more than 3 households, including hosts and guests, and must be held outdoors, lasting for 2 hours or less. That's right. No indoor Thanksgiving celebrations this year in California. It's outlawed. Outlawed. And it's only for 2 hours, even when you're outside. Even when you're outside, it's only for 2 hours. Because, according to Mr. Newsom, the longer the duration of the gathering, the risk of transmission increases. Oh. Gatherings that occur outdoors are significantly safer than indoor gatherings. All gatherings must be held outside. But listen to this. The gracious governor, the benevolent and holy Gavin Newsom has said that attendees may go inside. I am quoting. Attendees may go inside to use restrooms as long as the restrooms are frequently sanitized, the statement added. Yet this is an actual statement out of California. The new rules state that those at the gathering, quote, may remove their face coverings briefly to eat or drink. Thank you, benevolent governor. As long as they stay at least 6 feet away from everyone outside their own household. Oh, so I guess you could be within 6 feet if they're members of your household, but Aunt Harriet, Uncle Joe, get them the hell back. Back the hell up. Boop, boop, boop. You must put your face covering back on as soon as you're done with the activity. The latest guidelines add, quote, face coverings can also be removed to meet urgent medical needs. Isn't that gracious? For example, to use an asthma inhaler, take medication, or if feeling lightheaded. I'm feeling lightheaded reading this bullshit. Singing and shouting is strongly discouraged. Singing, chanting, and shouting are, quote, strongly discouraged. Why? Because they, quote, pose a very high risk of CV19 transmission, the statement noted. Quote, I repeat, quote, singing, chanting, shouting, and physical exertion significantly increases the risk of CV19 transmission because these activities increase the release of respiratory droplets and fine aerosols into the air. Because of this, singing, chanting, shouting are strongly discouraged, unquote, the statement said. Thanksgiving in California, don't sing for God's sake. Don't shout for God's sake. Don't chant anything. Not even thank you, God, thank you, Lord, thank you, Jesus, for this food. Forget it, don't do it, because here come the aerosols, here come the respiratory droplets, the dreaded respiratory droplets. Those who do participate in these activities should, quote, and I quote, do so quietly, at or below the volume of a normal speaking voice, unquote. Those who sing, chant, or shout are also, quote, strongly encouraged, unquote, to keep a physical distance of more than 6 feet. Of course. Musicians are allowed at gatherings, but they must be from one of the 3 households. Do not bring musicians in from outside the household. If you have no talented musicians in your family, you're frickin' screwed. As Joe Biden would say, play the phonograph. Play the phonograph. The playing of any wind instruments, those that are played by the mouth, such as a trumpet or clarinet, is, quote, strongly discouraged, according to the statement. I'm finished. Ladies and gentlemen, this is coming to the entire United States if Joe Biden wins. What I just read is totalitarian greed, lust for power. Once these people get in power, there's something about power that they love. People like Gavin Newsom and the governor of Michigan and the governor of New Jersey. There's something about power that turns these people on. They love controlling other people. They love telling you that you can't play wind instruments. They love telling you that you can only gather with 3 households and it must be outside for 2 hours and you must sanitize your bathroom frequently. They want to control every aspect of your life, and they will take advantage. They will invent global crises such as global warming and the so-called pandemic as an excuse, as leverage to catapult themselves into power, because a world problem requires a world solution. And we are for big government. They say we are for centralized government because we are totalitarians. They won't tell you that. They will say, we care for your well-being. That's a euphemism for we are totalitarian, power-hungry lunatics. And under our watch, you will never play another wind instrument again.